keep it really quick and brief, but I've discovered a few new hobbies during this quarantine. The first is drinking, so if you're drinking, cheers. If you're not, I'm drinking for you, it's... Oh. If you're not, I'm drinking for you, it's fine. The second hobby I've picked up is also drinking, so cheers. This will be funny eventually, I promise, just when I get through these slums. The last hobby is picking up fairy tales. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Mikki Miraj. I'm the magically melanated pixie princess of drag, and I'm obsessed with fairy tales. So I've been doing some digging, and I bet you have heard these stories before, but you haven't heard the real ones. So I'm gonna have this last shot, and I'm gonna tell you guys the real dirt on these fairy tales, okay? So cheers one last time. Thank you for supporting my bad habits. I really appreciate you.
One more.
One more time for Evelyn Evermore. Stunning. The first story I want to tell you is one that you might have heard before. It's called Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella Glass Slipper. She had long blonde hair, blue eyes, the sickest dance moves in all the land, and major daddy issues. Those issues would all be resolved when her deadbeat dad married a wicked stepmother and died, leaving her all alone. She was forced to cook and clean, do the laundry, arrange the furniture. She rolled all the family's blunts, but she was never once invited to the smoke session. Rude. How unfair. One day, though, a young, hung prince, whom the kingdom knew as legendary, invited all the noble houses to the grandest ball of all. House Glass Slipper was invited, and Cindy dreamed of meeting the prince and GTFOing out of this miserable life. Category was Butch Queen Up in Pumps. Whatever that means. So she toiled and to make her own sickening look from scratch. Jealous and spiteful, her stepmom and stepsisters destroyed her look before rushing off to the ball, leaving Cindy heartbroken and hopeless. As she often did, she ran to her favorite spot to sulk when she was feeling down, a place where she could truly, truly feel safe. The Louboutin store. Period. Amidst the row of shoes, she wept until a magical sound echoed through the empty store. Oh yeah. Cindy lifted up her teary eyes and met a wondrous sight. Her fairy godmother stood before her in her full glory and a Louboutin work uniform. Her name tag read, "It's Brittany, bitch." Also, I think those shots are kicking in because I just read that backwards. "Hey girl, it's me, your fairy godmother." Free Brittany. "I was in the area and it looked like your loneliness was killing you, so I just came to help. What's the tea, sis?" Cindy told Brittany all about her plight. Wow, Free Brittany. "I can totally help you with that," Brittany said, and then she gave a bippity boppity boo. You like that? Very fun. Cindy gasped as she was suddenly in a full couture look. Oh my god. "You are stronger than yesterday. And now go out there and give them more. And one taste of your dips, and the prince will be on a ride. Oh, and take these." She pulled a pair of Louboutins off of the shelf and gave them to Cindy, carefully plucking off the tags. "Just like, remember that you've got to be home by the time the bars close at 2 a.m. or the magic runs off." And Cindy thanked her and rushed off to manifest her destiny all over the ball. And Free Brittany. Oh, damn it, she's gone. Whoa. Cindy rushed to the ball and made it just in time for the last category, the battle. Without hesitation, she jumped into the ring and went head to head with the baddest bitches in all the kingdom. Even the prince took her on, but none were a match for her kicks, splits, and tricks. As her victory approached and all eyes were on her, I'm very pretty, but I don't know how to read. The clock struck 2 a.m., and in a panic, she fell to the floor in the slickest death drop you have ever seen. And a majestic Louboutin pump flew off her foot and smacked the prince right in the goddamn forehead. Terrified and embarrassed, she fled the scene, leaving the ball behind her. Little did she know, rumor had it that the mystery dancer had won the ball, and the prince was searching far and wide to deliver her trophy. When he finally found her and delivered the shoe, he heard all about her story, and he banished House Glassslipper from the scene forever. He asked Cindy to join his house, which to her meant she was obviously now dating a prince, so she said yes. And that's it. Rumor has it that Brittany Godmother eventually found her freedom, inspired by a particularly insightful fortune cookie. House Glassslipper was, for Brittany, House Glassslipper was never heard from again, and they lived happily ever after. You go, Cindy. All right, we got more, don't worry. This next one I really love because it's, it's time to reclaim. So, there once was a lovely girl locked in an ebony tower, okay? She's in a tower, it's 30 feet tall. Though no one had caught a glimpse of her, she was finer than wine with a charm to match. Her name was Rapunzel. Every day, she would sit in solitude at her window and practice her raps. Her songbird voice echoed all around the forest for no audience. None except the enchantress who kept her trapped in a tower. As we go, you're gonna see these words. Enchantress is not a hard word, but right now, it's hard. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, throw down your fierce weave. She would call from the room below, she would call every noon from 30 feet below. And so Rapunzel would take her 400 thread count wish.com lace front and toss it below for the enchantress to scramble up and deliver her daily bread. Mother, it's a mild day. I wish to meet a boy that takes my breath away, she bemoaned. But the enchantress would hear none of it, and she warned Rapunzel about fuck boys who would use her for her beauty and diminish her talents. This went on for weeks, until finally the enchantress was fed up and left poor Rapunzel to wallow alone in her well-hydrated pussy. Period. Before she left, however, she offered her one last piece of parting wisdom. Rather than chase some weak-ass sun, liberate yourself and join me on the sun. The sky is a beautiful place for a maiden such as you, where here on earth, these men will leave you blue. I wrote these at 3 a.m., you're welcome. Rapunzel knew not what she meant, but mournfully bid her mother goodbye. Goodbye. Now truly alone, she rapped fiercely day and night. Unbeknownst to her, a man her age had heard her rapping for years and fell in love with a voice that surely belonged to one beautiful bitch. He had fear of the enchantress, but now that she was gone, he decided to shoot a shot. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, throw down your fierce weave. Was that a man's voice? She couldn't believe. So she threw down her tresses and she let him climb up. It caused her great pain, for the man's weight was much greater, but she endured for the deed, and I can't say I blame her. The man was so charming, and she swooned for him nightly. Though each visit was painful, she treated him rightly. Yeah, I wrote that. Time would pass, and her weave would grow barer, but that was nothing compared to the burden of love that he brought her. Soon she was cooking, and cleaning, and folding his laundry. And where he had once been charming, he grew to be ornery. Nothing she did would please this man, and the pain stopped her rapping. This went on so long, until common sense started tapping. It was then that she finally understood the meaning of the enchantress's words, and she devised her plan. The next day came the familiar sound. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, throw down your fierce weave. So she did, and he climbed. But right at the top, she pulled out some scissors and she gave that fucking lace front a chop. Down the man tumbled, and with laughter she revealed that beneath the wig she bore luscious box braids. The prince was confused, and with his dying breath asked, Why? Why? Rapunzel just smiled and she did reply, this shit ain't been cute, but I was just horny. Lose me for a guy? Nah man, that shit's corny. You don't need that man. You need me, mama. Just kidding, just kidding. And then she did lasso the sun with her braids and yeeted off into the sky to join her mother. It is said that as the prince faded away, Rapunzel's #1 single could be heard ringing through the forest. Cue music. Oh. see, that's marketing, you guys. There's a reason I made it in Chicago. Just kidding. And the rest of the set is the reason I left. Okay, transition. You know, all this talk about WAP reminds me of this story my friend once told me. Something about a guy she hooked up with once and how awful it was. She couldn't tell me his name because all she could remember about him was his rumpled foreskin.
Oh my God!
And that leads me to my next story. Once upon a time, there were 3 little dick pigs, and all of them lived on Rainbow Way. Picture that. Dick pigs. All right, the first, named Bear Pig, was very impatient. He loved BDSM, but he didn't like rules, which was so uncouth and totally not all right. The second, named Twinkie Pig, was a little bit more chill, but he had an ego and only tried to hook up with straight animals on the DL. That means down low for the straight people in the room. Anybody straight in the room? Oh, what? Alright, okay. We either got a bunch of queers, which I love, or a bunch of liars, which I also kind of like. Alright. Together, they would meet up to practice Rain on Me choreography and go on iced coffee runs. They had quite the reputation. The third, named Femme Pig, was used to being ignored, but he had the biggest heart and hole of them all. He knew patience was the key to true love and hookups. Lots of hookups. One day, a handsome wolf happened by the way where the 3 little dick pigs lived. They couldn't pass up on such a fine specimen because they had been in quarantine for way too long. So they each devised a plan to find a man. When the wolf walked by the bear pig's house, he messaged on Scruff. Tap, tap, swipe, hosting within, come on in. But the wolf had heard nightmare stories about this pig, so he answered back, no, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Bear Pig, enraged, started blowing up the wolf's phone. Then I'll huff, and I'll woof, and I'll blow your phone up. So he tapped and he swiped and he said horrible things. The wolf gasped, blocked the little dick pig, and he ran away as fast as he could. Continuing down the way, the wolf meandered by Twinkie Pig's house. Twinkie Pig felt a rumble down under, and this time it wasn't Taco Bell, so he too messaged through Grindr. Tap, tap, swipe, hosting within, come on in. But the wolf knew better than to trust a faceless profile. So he said, no, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Twinkie Pig was so embarrassed, so he started blowing up the wolf's phone. Then I'll huff and I'll woof and I'll blow your phone up. So he tapped and he swiped and he spammed dozens of unsolicited nudes. Not cool. The wolf was appalled, and once again he had to block the little dick pig, and he ran away as fast as he could. By now, the wolf was so defeated. Here he was on Rainbow Way, freshly having come out of the den, and all the animals he met were not very nice at all. That was when he got another message on his phone. He groaned aloud, and checked. Tap, tap, swipe, hosting within, come on in. By now, the wolf was so tired, he let all of his frustrations out on a femme pig. No, not by the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I'll delete Scruff. No more wolves, stop blowing my phone up. Well, as he waited for femme pig's response, he started to feel bad. Maybe he'd done the wrong thing. He was just about to message again when femme pig said, "Rink, hickory dickory cock. I met you on TikTok. It's a shame you don't remember me, hun. No hard feelings. Grindr boys are dumb. Hope to see you around the block." Aww. I love romance. That's really sweet. Okay, the wolf was immediately charmed by femme pig's unabashed attitude and terrible poetry. So they scheduled a date and immediately fell in love, and that was it. Just in real life, that happens, yeah? The end. Wholesome, right? Thank you. The joke is that wholesome was written without a W. You can put it together. Yeah. I'm better reading than looking. Okay. That was the end of my. Oh, hold up. I'm getting a text. Ooh, girl. Y'all remember Cinderella? Well, she just texted me. And bitch, there is more to this story. Guess happily ever after isn't forever, huh? Bitch. Let's get this tea. Cindy had a pair of pumps. A pair of pumps. From where the prince had to know. And everywhere them Louboutins went, the prince was sure to go. Cindy got fed up one day Up one day, why didn't he love her back? The prince confessed that he was gay. He was gay. So love for her he did lack. Cindy started to scream and shout, twist and scream and shout. How did they end up here? The prince just offered her his clout to get those shoes so dear. Why do you want these shoes so? Cindy began to cry. 'Cause bitch, I'm a drag queen, don't you know? The prince so did reply. The end. Well, I'm sorry, Cindy. She may have had glass pumps, but the prince was light in the loafers, so I hope she meets somebody better for her